Before watching this film, ask yourself, do you believe in love? Now that you're done vomiting, the real question is, do you like romantic comedies? And do you like Celine Dion intertwined in said romantic comedies? And if your answer was yes, then this movie is definitely for you. Otherwise, you can go watch my other review on a movie called Hypnotic. This movie was adapted from a German film named Text for You. And when I think about it, the premise of this film is kind of creepy. Just a little bit creepy, you know? Priyanka Chopra Jonas plays Mira and Sam Heughan plays Rob. Mira's boyfriend dies in a car crash and she needs to figure out a way to heal from this loss. And Rob's fiance left a week before their wedding, and now he also needs to figure out how to heal from this loss too. So they're both just hurting. Personally, if I had the jawline of Rob, this will not be a problem at all. I will move right on really quickly. Chicks love a good jawline. I mean, I don't have one, but Rob does. And hell yeah. Mira figured out the best way to heal from her loss is to send text messages to her dead boyfriend's mobile phone number. Now, her dead boyfriend's phone number has been inherited by Rob, which means he's getting the text messages now. At first, the text messages were a little bit too creepy, but Rob started getting intrigued by who is behind these text messages and who are these text messages for. He never replied. This is a romantic comedy, so the intention of this film is not to be creepy. I'm sure there's a girl out there who's swooning right now just thinking, wow, this is the best scenario I've ever seen. But, you know, she's stupid. That's what she is. Although, still stick around and watch this whole review. Just like the lyrics of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, this film is mostly about loss and moving on. Celine Dion's story of love and loss was also written into this movie as well, like her real life story of her husband and manager, Renee and Jalil. This movie's storyline was one of the reasons Celine Dion agreed to be part of this project. And also, she's the executive producer of this film, so cash? A little bit of money? I guess that's a good motivator. But primarily, it's about the story. The writer and director of this film, Jim Strauss, said it took him almost a year to convince Celine Dion to do this film. And the Sony family were in support of this as she has a new song coming out. So I guess this is kind of also a bit of a promo for her songs that are going to be coming out soon. Love Again being one of them. In my opinion, Celine Dion was probably the biggest comic relief in this film. She was practically the funniest part of this film. I mean, everyone else tried, but Celine Dion was the best comedian in this film, so that says a lot. And then the other comic reliefs in this film was Mira's sister and Rob's co-workers. Oh, and a very funny little scene that Nick Jonas did. He was playing an awful date to Mira. If you don't know who Nick Jonas is actually married to Priyanka Chopra, which is where she got the Jonas bit added to her name. Now you know. Probably already knew that. No, I just, yeah, whatever. Rob is a music reviewer and is on an assignment to interview Celine Dion on her first US tour in 10 years. And Celine somehow turns each interview into a therapy session teaching Rob how to deal with loss and love again. And Love Again is a shameless plug for Celine Dion's new single. At this stage, Rob is infatuated by the person who's sending text messages to her dead boyfriend, and he does everything he can to find out who is behind these text messages. And with the typical rom-com bumps, eventually Rob and Mira meet, and then the story goes from there. Now, intertwined with that is all of Celine Dion's old songs and new songs, which I quite really enjoyed added to this film, so you might too. There is no need for me to go into details with this film because it's basically a tried and true formula for most romantic comedies. So if you like romantic comedies, you're just gonna enjoy this just as much as you have with the other ones. However, there are superior romantic comedies out there, but you can just add this one in because, you know, sometimes it's good to see new faces. It's got all the recipes of a romantic comedy. You've got the meet cute, you've got the zany sidekick, you've got the misunderstanding, you've got the clumsy hero, you've got the massive apartment that you cannot explain how the hell they can afford that with the job that they have. So it's got all that stuff. It's basically, yeah, you get it. What's good about this movie? I'm glad you asked. Celine Dion's soundtrack. Her soundtrack is littered all over this film, and I, for one, welcome it. Huge fan.
This is Celine Dion from Spotify. Sorry, that device is offline.
I did not ask you at all. Also, it's got that New York setting, and not to forget Sam Heughan's jawline, you know. The killer jawline. He's a handsome man. Now, what's not good about this film? There's the beginning scene where Mira witnesses her boyfriend getting hit by a car and the camera stays on her face. She witnessed that for far too long that it's almost not possible. If you knew someone got hit by a car, you would absolutely run out there in heartbreak. Now, there is something to be said for shock, but I just feel like that part was badly acted. But that's just me nitpicking. Now, should you watch this film? Well, not unless you're being forced by your significant other. Because there are better films like Bridget Jones's Diary, and then you've got Notting Hill. I feel like those movies are stronger. However, like I said previously, it's good to see other faces, and that might be something you enjoy about this film. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for staying all the way to the end. Till next time.